everyone. Thank you very much for being here today. So thanks a lot, Aiden, for jumping in and tell a little bit about Log Me In. As Ada introduced me, my name is Rodrigo, and I'm here in Log Me In for about 5 years. So I've seen a lot of things happening. I can share a couple of things, and based on what Aiden said about bringing this easy to use, nice user interface, I could see this changing and how much we as a company are listening to our customers and making change that actually impacts their life in the way they're using our software. So today we're going to look exactly one of those brand new tools that it is now part of the Rescue family that is extremely easy to use. And bear in mind, these tools, they were kind of embedded on Rescue itself in the past. But because LogMeIn Rescue is such a powerful tool with loads of customizations, enterprise ready, some of these tools were a little bit too difficult for non-technicians to use that. So what you're going to see here is a little bit of live lens and live guide, which is pretty much, which camera? I mean, this one here? Yeah, or this one? No, this one. Yeah, here. So a little bit of live guide and live lens. So live lens is basically gain access to the end user camera in a very easy way with no download required. And then you can guide them through. We're going to talk through that a little bit as well. Also, the live guide, which is the co-browsing. This is basically a way that you can browse together with end user, and then you can see these days a lot of companies, they are web-based, they have applications web-based, and you don't need to take full control of those machines. Or even could be just guide them through a website. You don't need to have full control. With that comes security, easy to use. You don't need to be a technician to access the browse and browse together. So we're going to look at that as well. We're going to show a little bit about Rescue, not everything. That would take a little bit more than an hour, and I don't want to keep you here more than an hour. And a couple of things that you brought in on Rescue this year, a couple of our plans, and we're going to open a little bit for Q&A. So where you can ask your questions. I will try to answer all of the questions. If I cannot, our promise is that we'll follow up. I guess we get all the questions via report, and then we just follow up with those answers. Okay, let's kick off. We still have a long time to go, so let's start. As I said, live gains and live lights will be the first one that I'm going to talk about, and the first one will be live lens. So what is live lens? Live lens is a tool that you can basically from browser to browser be able to gain access to the customer camera. And what is that for? One of our customers, that's one of our biggest customers that's using live lens today, they're using for help customers with their internet. So, and the name of the customer is British Telecom. And if you been in Europe at some point, you know that it's one of the biggest telcos in Europe. And they're using this technology basically to gain access to the camera and help them to restart a router or do some plug on cable, reset, these type of very simple issues. And what's the benefit of that? You can reduce a lot these truck rolls, engineering just going to a house and spend a lot of money just to plug a cable. So you don't want that. So also you could use that for training. So where you can, especially in this situation that we are now, even moving forward, imagine you have someone that is expert in lifts and elevators. So something happened with the elevator, you have to bring the engineer to that place. And maybe it was just a set of combinations of buttons. If they could see that through the camera, you could guide someone to do that, avoiding these travel expenses. And again, even for IT support, which is that happens quite often. So especially everyone working from home, they have some difficulty to just set up their computer or some hardware issue, and the IT support can go there and say, that's the cable that you have to plug in, that's the cable that you don't have to plug in, helping them to do that. But without talking too much, let's go ahead and show exactly how that looks like, okay? So let me just bring in a set of live lens. So what you can see here on my left screen is the console. And as you can see, it's a web console. You can just log in with console.logmerescue.com, and you'll be able to see that option here, which is the camera share. On the right side, you will see a phone that I'm sharing here. So let's go and start a session, see how easy it is to do that. First thing you need to do is just click connect to your camera, and you just have here. So you can name the customer here. I'll call Pedro, and you can send SMS. You can even send an email or just copy the link. As we are here on the phone, so you can just pretty much send an SMS, which is much easier to do it. So all the countries you can do, ask for a drop-down menu here. You can find all the countries, and then you type here. Let me see if I have the number that I don't remember. There we go. I will just paste it here and send us the SMS. When you see the SMS pop in here, you see how easy it is for the end user to start the session. Okay, let's go ahead and send. Do I have any signal? Yeah, I have it. Well, let's see this popping up. Maybe a message there. There we go. So I will click on that, get the last message, and then you can see there is a link here with a code. When they click on this link, what's going to happen? I have my phone here on my hand, and they have the option to start sharing their camera. I will just press continue, the yellow button, and as you can see, it's pretty much it. We're in. We have video. And bear in mind, we're using a screen sharing over screen sharing, so the quality that I can see is crystal clear. I can even just approach a little bit closer to a modem like this. And if I want you to start annotation, just clicking here on the left top here, I'll click here. I can even read everything's in there. So I can just click. And for instance, let's say that the customer doesn't know their password and doesn't know how to reset it. They reset their router and they don't know where to find the password. So the agent comments is like, can you just show your router on the back? So then I can see here that, wow, so your password will be right here. I can even annotate, just put an arrow so you can see that's your password. So you can do arrows with different numbers, you can do with different colors, or you can even write on the screen, and you can see everything happens immediately at the same time right here on the phone. So a couple of more things, shapes, you can do it, you can do highlights or free drawing. So very, very flexible. And if you need to go back to live, you just need to stop here. So when you stop, you go back to live, and also you can be talking to the end user because that allows a VoIP technology. So you can talk to them and hear them. Also taking screenshots and making notes for training purpose in the future. But the most important thing about this technology that's important to say is the fact is it is absolutely download free. How many times you're trying to do these type of things and the end user say like, oh, I don't have enough storage, I forgot my password. This is a very common issue. And listen to that. We create this, and now you're able to support hardware or no technical issues with Live Guide. I guess probably a lot of questions, but we can get Live Lens, we can get these questions afterwards. Absolutely no problem. Now, let's talk a little bit about Live Guide. Live Guide is a technology that where you can share your browser with an agent. And again, you don't need to be an expert. You can be just, for example, work in a bank. You can helping people just to fill up a form on the mortgage form. You can help them to find something on a website or even provide trainings for web-based applications. And how does that work? So as I said, it is extremely easy, same way as you could see with Live Lens. The training for this is absolutely zero. You can teach people how to use these too in literally 5 minutes. The deployment is instant because it is just a login used on the browser base. Security-wise, it is what you're going to show you here. It's first, you're not taking control of the computer. You just take control of the browser if you allow the agent to do so, because you can customize and just do only sharing. A couple of things that you can do. So let's go ahead and show you a little bit about the live guide. Okay, let me just bring a live guide here. There we go. As you can see, it sits on the same browser, so but instead of camera share, it's live guide. So on the left is the agent. Again, log in, you're ready to go. So imagine you have someone here. This is just a fake website, it's just a dummy website, but could be a bank, could be anything. And they need support to navigate with them. They can go ahead and, for example, ask them to click in support. That will be fully customized where you can, we will provide the code, and that will be sitting right there anywhere you want on a website. They click on the code, just like this. In this case, is support, and that will bring you a screen with a pin. So the agent on the other side can enter this pin, which is 300-205. There we go. Once I click connect here, remember this doesn't require any downloads. So what I'm saying here, you can basically take control of that browser, that tab, or even start sharing with one click. If they start here, I would suggest you start counting how many seconds it takes for me to see the screen. Yeah, less than a second. It's pretty quick. So now I can navigate, I can scroll down, I can play with the website as well. And notice that the agent here on the left side, when I move my mouse, on the other side, the end user will see that where the agent has the mouse. So on the other hand as well, if I am the customer, the agent will know where I am. So all of this is configurable on the admin center. You can highlight, such as doing annotations. And if you scroll down, that will disappear because you don't want that annotation just to move with it, because it could move to a different place. You can also highlight. You can have a quick chat with them here. You can disable that if you will. You can block some buttons so the agent cannot click and buy. You can obfuscate sensitive information such as credit card information, something like you don't want the agent to see it. So when the end user start typing, that will be obfuscated, so the agent will lose access to it only after the end user decides to start sharing again, and then the agent will be able to see it. Again, remember, this is not a full remote control, and the end user only agreed to show this tab. If they open a different tab or go on the computer, look that the agent cannot see anything, because the agreement was only on this tab. If you need to open a new web browser, you can do it within it. So if you just click here, a plus button, you can go and just open Google, for example, and then we're just navigating within tab. And also you can limit the number of tabs that you want the agent to have access during this process. Again, no download, very easy. And this is also part of Rescue. So, and one of the most important things is how easy it is for both ends. For the agent, we don't need to be a technician, and also for the end user when they need support. Even think about insurance companies that people are calling, they're not reaching any person to renew their policies, but they can do that online. Maybe people with not as, they don't feel like it's so easy to go on a website and just do the renewal. So you can have an agent helping them, and you don't lose these customers. And then, of course, you can continue with your business. Okay, let's go back to our slides. As you can see, not much slides. I would like to talk about Rescue. Let's make something clear on these two products that I showed. So these two products, they are part of the Rescue family, but they can be purchased as an add-on of Rescue, or they can be purchased separately. You can have only the live guide, and you can have only the live lens, or you can have everything at the same place, okay? And Rescue, that's where you're going to talk about now, is the full enterprise-ready remote support tool that we're working with many customers, as Aidan mentioned here previously. One of the one I mentioned was BT, so I also have a Microsoft, HP. So, and the list goes on and on and on. What is new on Rescue? Our Rescue, we always very concerned about security, trying to bring the best of the best, not only on the policies, not only on the configurations and the settings and customization, but also in compliance and certifications. So we always had good stamps next to Rescue, as you can see here, SOC 2 Type 2, SOC 3, C5, go on and go on. But I'm very happy to say that now we also have our ISO 27K, which is something that just happened a couple of weeks ago, and I'm happy to share here with you. Another thing that I just would like to mention on Rescue as well is the fact that now we do provide MSI for most technical people here on the MSI deployment for unattended access. So with that said, you can now mass deploy all these unattended machines with Rescue, where before it was just like one by one. That would be like a one-to-one interaction. Now you can do for all of these, and I can show you a couple of things that will happen here as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and show how these launch access wizards work and how you can deploy that with Rescue. Okay, let me just go ahead and bring here to the website. This is our portal. I'm gonna log in with my credentials. And of course, as you can see, I have many accounts, and it would be absolutely impossible to know my passwords unless I would just use the same for all, which is not recommended. So I have the lovely help from our tool, which you use as well, which is LastPass. Let me find it. There we go. And I just need to click here. Just remember my password, continue, and I'm logged in. So that's what is new with Rescue. You can see that it's just another pop-up here talking about the Rescue Access Wizard. So we're going to go through a little bit on this demo here. So let's go ahead and click here, Launch Access Wizard. So what is that? If you want to deploy these unattended machines, these clients, for a couple of hundreds of thousand machines, you can just do it using this MSI. So from here, we call the package that I'm going to talk to IO, and I would just say test, select the package. Windows is available. Mac just will be available in a few weeks. We had these in a zip file, but we just building that in a package file, so soon we'll be here. Not only the unattended access you can mass deploy, but you can set up even a time range. So imagine that just want those technicians to access those machines from 7 to 10 p.m. You can do that selecting here the time. Also, you can select even a particular up to 14 days or a couple of days, and then you can revoke that automatically. You don't have to do anything else. For this one, I would just go never expired. I want to give access all the time for all the technicians, which is possible as well. Once I go here, next step, I can select by technician, which technician I want to give access to it, or even I can select, for example, a group of technicians. If I select a group of technicians, for example, UK, Brazil, and France, all of them will be having access to this package, to these machines that I will be deploying. Once I do that, I just click next step. I will have the confirmation here that exactly what I want. You just need to download an installer, and that's it. You have the MSI, and you're ready to go. You can deploy using your favorite deployment tool that you've been using today. Right, so I'm gonna go here, discard and close, and go back to our Rescue here, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about why Rescue is the leader in the market for remote support tool. Why we allow our customers to have so much control with their solution, especially when you're doing a remote support session. You need to be safe. You need to make sure the people being supported, they trust the technician and they trust the technology. So let's go ahead and quickly jump in on the admin center here. I'm not going to go too deep into that because that might be a little bit boring. It's very robust and feature rich, but I just want to show a couple of things that you see like, yeah, this is the enterprise ready solution that I'm looking for. One of the things is the hierarchy. So you can see here that I have this little man with a black shirt, blue shirt, and the green shirt. What are those? So the black one is the owner or the master administrator, that person that will just look after the account. Full permissions, they can do pretty much anything. The difference between that person and the person that owns the account is the owner will be able to change billing information as well. But apart from that, they pretty much can do everything. And then you have admins, which you can create admins to administrate certain groups of technicians. So you can give them some permission, but restricted. Also, you can create admins that will have only permissions to run reports and then have access to the command center, which is a live it's a live session where you see all the sessions coming and going, and you can see pretty much if you have live sessions, waiting sessions. So it's a way to control that, and basically a way to monitor all the sessions coming. Also, I would like to mention that when you click here on the technician group, you'll be able to see right here under organization the level of controls that you have with these groups. So you can pretty much select all of these features here, and you can revoke if you will. And you probably are asking, I'm not going to read all of these here. You can see there is a lot in here. And a quick trick here in the admin center, if you just hover on top the question mark, it will tell exactly what it is. Actually, I stopped the one here, one of my favorites and one of our customers' favorites, which is the scripting. We're going to talk about that later as well. And you're probably asking, what is these little boxes here as well? This is you as a master admin. You can lock those features. That way, not even the admin will be able to change that setting. So you can let them change all of the settings here, except this one that you lock. All right. Two more things that I would like to mention here on the admin center is the settings. You have two types of settings. One is the settings on the group, and another one is the settings on the account level, which is the global settings. On the group, everything that you do here will be changing everything on this particular group here that I have selected. So a couple of things are force recording, but I would like to mention a couple of things here that's very important, which is you can even you can do a sort of like IP restrictions on that group. You can deny or grant just on that IP range. And of course, you can do that on the account level as well here on the global settings. There are not only that, you can do the IP restrictions, but also you can do you can force two-factor authenticator. So you can use the two-factor authenticator to force them to use it. Another thing is important as well to mention is the fact that we do support Active Directory. We can do a synchronization, so you can download the connector and synchronize the users from your AD into Rescue. Okay. So also important to say, we have plenty of documentation APIs, free to use, integrations of CRMs, all of the big ones we have out of the box. And if you don't have it, can be created using our APIs. SSO, we support SAML 2.0, and more and more news coming towards SSO. That's where you're going to be able to use SSO to log into the technician console as well. All right, so this is just a very, very high-level overview of the admin center. You can, one thing that I mentioned here, the two-factor verification, and also the password policy. If you don't have any tool or SSO or not using LastPass to manage your passwords, you can right here just change the way that you want to manage those password policies as well. Okay. Let's go ahead and start a new session, show how you can use Rescue and a couple of tools, couple of features that I think would be interesting for you to see it. Let's go ahead and show the technician console. By the way, Rescue does support mobile devices as well. We can fully remote Androids and screen sharing for iOS. What you're seeing now is the technician console. The technician console is it is where the technician will sit when just start their sessions and they start the remote support. There's a couple of ways that you can start sessions. I will show the ad hoc way first, which is very simple. The first thing you need to do is just click in here in new session. All of these here can be customizable. You can make it mandatory, so which the technician will have to do that. But if you use any sort of CRM integration, ticketing system integration, you can even create this session within your ticket integration. That could be, for example, if using ServiceNow or using Zendesk or anything like this, you'll be able to create that and export the data, all the session data to those tools as well. Like here, we're gonna go ahead and just create a pin code, start a very simple session. So create a pin here. I don't need to put a name because this is optional. So I have a 166.4.1.7. I will not remember this number. I'm gonna have to come back here, but let's try it. Okay, so what you're going to see now is a Windows machine that we're just being supported by this technician. So there we go. So the only thing they need to do is open the browser and go to logme123 or support.me will bring to the same page, just like this. And they have to type the code, which I already told you I would forget. So of course, let's have to go back there and get the code again. 166.4.1.7. 166.4.1.7. So once they type the code in there, so they start the download and might be asking, okay, but I'm downloading a .exe file. How would work if they don't have admin credentials? Absolutely no problem, because this is not installing anything. This is just running. It's just the same as run an application, is a small applet. And that application there is attached to that pin code. So no one can take over the session because that session is related to that pin code that was generated by the technician. So they just need to open this. And when they open, you see on the technician side that the session just shows up here. Simple as that. So from here, you can go ahead and click play or just double click here, okay, which I just did. And you start this session immediately, just like that. So as you can see, I'm already in, but I still cannot see the screen. That's where Rescue is different against what you've seen so far. Because from here, even before I start the session, I can do a lot of things. I can go on a file manager, have information about the system, or even I can restart the system, the as a system service, elevate these sessions. So the reason I have just a button here is because that machine that I have, the virtual machine that I'm using, I am a local admin. So that person, which is me, does have the permission to elevate the session. But if you don't, would show here, would present to you a field to type in your credentials. That could be on the domain as well. If you're just using, for example, Azure, you can do domain /username UPN and credentials. That way you'll be elevating the session. But if you don't need to elevate session, you can just hit here, launch remote control. You'll be able to do it. Here would be just like a co-browsing, just sharing the screen, but no action. You can chat with them here, say hi, and they just can say hi back on right here. Okay, hi back. So when I get the message, just come here on the chat. One of the things that you'll be able to do as well is the ability to send URLs, push URLs. And remember, I'm not even seeing the screen just yet. And I can just push a URL like this. So Rescue or Catalina, how to support macOS Catalina. If I send that, look what happened on the other end. It opens automatically the browser, default browser on that link. That could save you a lot of time, especially if you're just using those links over and over and over again. So you have that list and you can do that. Another thing that you can do here, you can send files and you can receive files. And bear in mind, all of these features can be controlled by the admin and allow or not allow the technician to do that. So if I decide to send a predefined message, I have one here, which is welcome. My name is Rodrigo. How can I help you? I send that. It's already there. So you can have these predefined messages as well. So let's just move around and play around the rescue a little bit here, for example. But before, I would like to start the app as a season service because I want to just run some scripts and play around as well. So when I click here, the end user will get the UAC prompt. So they only need to accept that. Once they accept, that's it. I'm running as a system service. So even on the background. One of the most important things that I would like to mention is this chat log right here. You can see that every single action by the technician is captured here, and that will be available on reporting or even on the pause session data that it can export to any CRM or ticketing system that you're using that you can integrate with. So talk a little bit about the encryption standard AES 256. So technology built by Rescue. We work in a peer-to-peer. So Rescue will try to do a peer-to-peer or encrypted tunnel, which just go from the agent to the end user. No one in the middle. If Rescue realizes someone trying to get in the middle, the connection will just close. So let's go to the file manager and launch that, and it shows something very interesting here, especially for auditing purpose. So if you see, when I do that, the customer has to agree that the technician is trying to do all of those: control view desktop, system information, transfer files, with the countdown here. If you miss that window, it will be revoked automatically. So they have to just click OK. I'm in. There we go. And then now I can see the file. Look what happened if I decide to transfer one file from the end user, which is on the right, and myself as a technician on the left. So you can see that on the right, no problem. I've done that before. Have a look what happened here. Received file, and even the path of the file. You can see here exactly the timestamp when it happened and which file was transferred. You don't get that very easy with all the tools out there. You can pretty much track every single action from the technician that can be on the reporting as well. Also, you can get some system information, all of these here. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, okay? So you request this information, you have everything here, and you can see everything shows on the screen. All right. Couple of things: you can restart the machine. You don't have to reconnect and do all the process again because it will just reconnect. I would like to mention is scripts, which is, we don't provide scripts, but imagine if you just have a very simple fix. I remember when I was working on the support desk, a lot of customers would call saying that they have a problem with printer, and the first thing you would do is restart the spooler, which is restart all the documents that are stuck in a queue. So instead of just going to service and do that manually, I would just create a script and just click, and that's it. So for example, if I hit here IP config, which is just a regular IP config all, I deploy that, and all the information comes here, right here on the chat, which will be sent and exported again on the reporting. So on the customer side, they know exactly what was done, and you can see that the script information just runs here as well. Rescue will identify this machine and create a hash. For next time I'm going to access this machine, it will show you exactly what was done on this machine. If I click here, view, as another technician come to this session, they will be able to see exactly what was done. That will just save a lot of time to know exactly what was done on that machine beforehand.
Hey, Rodrigo, just going to jump in here for a second. So one of the things I just want to see was you have obviously one session running at this stage. And what I love to see is the fact on the left, everything is recorded, both from security. Also, if you're dealing with your clients, if they want to think, or if they need to get the report to say what exactly happened on their PC, it's all recorded. I just want to take a little break here and maybe launch a poll or two to get people engaged. But just one of the questions I had was, how many sessions can you run at any one stage, at any one time? Because I know you have one at the moment, but how many can you do at any one stage?
Very good question, Aidan. And actually, you can run up to 10 sessions at the same time. I would not recommend to run 10 sessions at the same time. I can't do it. I'm not skilled enough. Unless you're an octopus, then you have a massive brain. But I think it's more than enough. And you can even more than that, because when you pause, right here, the session, you can have another active session. So you're covered. You can have plenty of sessions at the same time, and you can limit the technicians on the admin center as well, how many sessions they can have at the same time.
Perfect, because obviously it's going to save a lot of time for both the company, and also managerial decisions can be made based upon how many you can do. I was going to launch a quick poll here just to see if everybody on the call here, if they actually currently use what a remote support tool. We'd love to hear more, obviously, after this session today, what remote support tool they use. But just want to see if somebody can answer this for me. If you currently use a remote support tool. So if I've done this correctly, it should be open up to yourselves there. I'll leave it open for another few seconds. And Rodrigo, some of the larger corporations that use it, I know we mentioned Vodafone. I think we sent across the handouts there to our attendees. But Microsoft use us as well, as I believe, for rescue. And how do they use it?
That's a very, very good point. And so, as you could see here, I had I did the log me 123 with the site, so everything can be customized, and I wasn't lying, it can. So the same situation here that you have log me 123, which is this one, 123. This is the same what Microsoft is using today, but instead, what they're doing is they have their own customized page, which is on the Microsoft, you have your disclaimer. And as you can see, they are using right here, log me rescue. And then when you accept, they can just do and type the code in. So Microsoft is with us for a good few years, and they're still using and happy using rescue for a long time. So another thing I would like to mention as well, this isn't a website, but it's another sort of customization that you have plenty of users using is you have a different ways to connect. You have the unattended access. You also have the ad hoc, the one that I showed here. I'm going to close this one. Okay. And you see that the session here will be closed. I can close that. This is a survey, this survey is optional. You can create. We offer surveys as well. Let's start a new session using the calling card. The calling card is a small application that you can deploy to your end user. And you can fully brand it, put your own logo. You can put it pretty much anything there, the name of the application. So in here, you can see that it's LogMe, but that could be absolutely anything. We have customers all over the globe that are just using this customization, take advantage of it. So that will run for a quick update, and you have two different type of connections. You can do the channel where that will be going straight away to the technician on the queue, or you can do using a pin code. So that's the user pin code. If you're using this session here, so look how quick it is. You just click connect, and pretty much the session would show here, and I can pick it up this session just like that. So we're talking about seconds. You can save a lot of time doing this. And this is the calling card. It's one of the most favorite tools used by our customers. And the good news is that you can fully customize that. And even the links here, the colors, pretty much anything. So that's one of our customers they have in US. That's how they customize their own calling card. As you can see, it's the same thing, but fully customized. Okay, before I open for questions, we still have 15 minutes. I want to give you a good time for questions. I want to go back into the admin center and cover a little bit about reporting. As Aidan mentioned, you can pretty much get all the information that you need from the sessions. I'm going to run a session report here, and these session reports I would do for the current month, or you can just select here any time range. You can do that on HTML. You can download that. Also, you can even use the APIs to automate this process. So let's go HTML here that you can show and we can look together how that looks like. Oh, I just checked the wrong. There's a very good point. That was the report under friends. You can do under each group, under a technician, or under all the technicians. I don't have anything happen on this group. That's why was no data. But on this group here, UK, I'm sure something is going to happen here. Let's go. There we go. So as you can see here, all the tools that were used, RC for remote control, RB for reboot clients' computers, and then you can see everything's here. Timestamp, when it started, when ended, last action time, name of the technician group, type of session. We done the applet one, which is the private session. Also, we done the calling card, the one that I showed that is more application that you can customize. Status, you see who closed the session, the name. You remember the last one was Pedro. Windows 10 is the OS. All of this can be customizable as well. You can decide to retain the IP address of the customer or not. This is customizable. You probably remember that I said the REST creates a hash to identify the machine. That's the hash. And here, the incident tools used, RC for remote control. And then you can have all of these. If you don't know what it is, you can always go back here and see it. Okay. And again, connection time, all of the information can be found here. Another report that I would like to mention is, let me just go back here. It is the report about the chat log. On the chat log, I would just go and get it and show you a couple of things that I mentioned. So that was a session on the 17th. So if I click here on the chat log, you know exactly what was done on that session. Not much was done here, but if I had run a script to transfer a file, that would show right here. We still have 12 minutes. I would like to open for questions.